So I ended up in New Mexico, and I ended up just by chance. I needed a job, and one of my friend's dads worked at a call, and he's like, "Why don't you come work at the ranch for the summer?" All right. Traded my guitar for a gun and kind of never looked back. True story.
Right on.
So I worked at the ranch for the summer, and I got around the surgeon sub more and more and more, and he started to pay attention to me. Then I went to work for a call security. I did that for several years, and I dealt with him more and more and more and more, and there are several things that happened over those years. I'll try to give you a synopsis.
Okay.
I had enough interactions with him over the years where I stopped taking him seriously when he would say things like, "I totaled a vehicle at a call. I'm lucky I walked away without a scratch. I rolled that thing over a couple of times, and it spun around and went through a tree, and I wasn't wearing a seatbelt. It was 2 a.m, and somehow I walked away without a scratch. I don't know how I did that." When I saw him next, he was like, "I was going to give you a huge bonus this year, but you wrecked the vehicle, so I can't." I didn't believe him. I wasn't even offended. I wasn't even like, "Really?" I was just like, "Yeah, whatever." I know you well enough now that I just don't even believe you. I just don't believe you. And while I was spending time at a call, people kept saying to me, "You're like the owner's son. Like, you're just stay here. You're going to keep climbing the ranks." And I didn't want that. Yeah. I wanted to earn whatever I got. I wanted it on the merit of my work and who I was. And so it was not working for me. And I was starting to see a disconnect in how we were treating each other. We treated each other in the Dharma that we're all working together worse than than how we were treating civilian employees. Let's just call them that. Mm. But then when you'd see them at Gurdwara on the weekend, they'd be like, "Hi, G, how are you?" Like, get the fuck away from me. Like, you were just treating me like shit on Friday. We don't pick that up again on Monday, and today you get to act like. Mm. And so the disillusion was building, and there were a number of things that were happening. I was around the surgeon job, and while I was there, I would get pulled off of working for a call when he was in town, and I was for large chunks of time, his primary bodyguard. And I just got to see how, he dealt with people and things. And meanwhile, these women are walking in and out of the dome every morning, every evening, and I had no idea.
Wow.
Not a clue. To my shame, I didn't know that I was supposed to be protecting people from him. I made a contract with that man. I was willing to give my life for him because he was serving something big, and I was serving him to do that. Yeah. That was my way of helping, because I believed in what he was trying to do, or at least purportedly was trying to do. I think I've always had that in me. I would have served the military. I would have served anything. Mm. I wanted to serve. I generally like to be a part of something that's bigger than me. And I think I'll never know, right? I'm not in his head, but I think he saw that in me, because say what you want about him, the man had skills. He knew how to read people. Yeah. He knew, and if you're a supporter, you probably see it as he knew how to help you or move you along. If you are cynical or you don't believe, then he manipulated you. I think it just depends on how you saw it. But I think he knew what he was doing, and he used me. And some of us have spoken who who were his bodyguards and people close to him. And, I think they were much more influential than I was, but I think he chose his allies very carefully. I stood next to him in uniform or out with a gun on. People knew who I was, and I helped project his power in some small way. Mm. He used me just like he used many other people. Had he been honest about what he was doing and how he was living, then I could have made an honest decision. But no, I was representing him under false pretenses. Mm. And, I did things I'm not proud of. There were people who were labeled as predators who came to Solstice, and they were supposedly being a predator around our young women. That maybe they had they were the nephew of somebody, in the Dharma, and they had come. I put a gun on and I'd wake them up early in the morning. Someone would come with me. I'd be like, you have 30 minutes to get the fuck out of here, or you're going to jail. The New Mexico State Police are going to come get you. Well, you can't do that. Who the New Mexico State Police going to believe? Me or you? We've been here a long time. We have relations with them. Get the fuck out of here and never come back. And don't let this get physical, because you'll get hurt. I threatened people for him. I threatened our own kids for him. Not with that. But, we had kids that were coming to New Mexico. We knew they were bringing lots of drugs to Solstice. And, there were kids who weren't going to get it on their own. And then there were kids who were bringing it and giving it to everybody. And, I look back on it. It's like they're being kids. They were acting out. They were angry. I'm not mad at them. They were being who they were. And I helped send some of them away. And I don't know why I couldn't see that we're supposed to be a family, and we're supposed to forgive, and we're supposed to be inclusive. Not to our own detriment, mind you. But, this idea of somebody cut their hair or took a turban off and everybody's bashing them. And it's like, these kids should have felt like this is always where they can come back to. This was their home, no matter what. This community should have always been a safe haven for them. Not unconditionally. Again, not to the detriment of the community. But they weren't welcome. If anybody decided to go against the grain, they weren't welcome. Now, I heard him tell people, you're going to be a prostitute. He told a friend of mine, when you get to St. Peter's Gate, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to make sure you don't get in.
Wow.
And this kid wrestled with it for years. His rational mind was like, that's a bunch of shit. But in the back of his mind, he's like, oh my God. He wrestled with it for years. What if he's right? I watched him do that. And these were my friends. These were people I grew up with. I watched things happen that I should not have stood by. I was 22 years old. I have to own what I did, by the way. I'm not using 22 years old as an excuse, and I'm pretty hard on myself about it.
Yeah.
But honestly, I look back at, one of my daughters that's 20, and I go, oh, wow, yeah. We're not all that bright at that age.